Oops, and then I just said that all on mute. Yeah, so if anyone comes back into the space, I'll just shut it off again. I'm still just doing receipts. So there's some private offices around the edge. Those are probably like $600 or $700 a month. Still worth it on top of an apartment, really. If you're actually doing work like I do, right? So, like I said, I'm not just, using this as an apartment without a bedroom. No, I'm using it as a professional workspace, partially because in college, I realized that my dorm room, it's basically a bedroom, and so if I used it as a workspace, I had trouble sleeping because my mind couldn't. I'm probably also better at separating my mind. So in college, I might have been able to, like if I were to use a dorm today, I might be able to better compartmentalize my mind and say, like, this is my working space. Maybe it was like I watched movies at my desk and I did work at my desk and I played movies at my computer on my desk while I laid in bed. So like I could have broken it down just a little bit more, but there were 24-hour study rooms anyway, so I just did that. So hello, welcome, Eminent. I think I recognize you. Hey, have you ever seen a psychiatrist? Well, that's medical information, so I'm not going to say anything. Because, see, you guys see the pattern of people who come in here? So you're muted for a day to think about it. Just your lack of class in saying something like that in public, and that I have to respond to. And however I respond, it is not a good answer or look for me, right? So there's no right answer to that question. Think about what the possible answers somebody could give are. Do you want me to look good or bad? There's an email address, right? If you just want an answer, think about the channel, think about the medium through which you're asking the question. For 86,000 seconds. It's 86,400 seconds in a day. Put a 1 in the chat if you recognize that number. If we count leap days, then it'll be a little bit more than 86,400. But everyone who works with a lot of data knows that number well. Like, you notice how people will talk about anything except what the stream is about? They'll just talk about certain things. Plausible deniability, look that word up. That's why you just go with your gut, and if you've made a mistake, it's not a big deal. Like, people want to just come in and humiliate me, try to get a reaction out of me, try to make me turn red. And if that's not the case with that kind of question, like, you really have to work on your personal boundaries too. Like, I know nothing about you. Why would I answer that question? Oh, because you're so mentally ill that you vlog. Haha. You're not wrong there. Do you think a staple will get all those? Probably not. Need a couple staples. A couple different piles. And I'd say the person asking that kind of question too, if they were familiar with what they were asking me, they would sort of know things about like privacy and sensitivity and stuff. So let's flip the question. Come back next stream and tell me, you know, are you willing to answer your own question? I don't care about the answer, but are you willing to answer your own question? Through the same channel. And if the answer is yes, I'll ask the same question again. So the staple just is how I know that I have captured it. So then we get all these photos, and then we import them into the computer. And then I've got a spreadsheet of tags, like image tags. And then I just select them all, and I can just drag them into my open document or my open Office sheets. And then from there, I've got more columns alongside the file name, vendor, total price, date, time. So the first thing I do is, just because you can kind of look at a receipt real quick and know which vendor it was, I go Taco Bell, Taco Bell, Taco Bell, Starbucks, Starbucks, whatever, whatever. So I just get that piece of information. So it's like, it's easy, and then also if I want to, it lets me answer the question more easily, how much did I spend on Starbucks? So then I just take all my receipts for Starbucks, and then I fill in the details. Like, I'm only interested in June. Well, I've got like 3 months worth, so I just have to filter them through. And if the date is June, I fill in the date, and if it's not, leave it blank, or just fill in everything, depending. And then I go through and fill in the amounts. Or, you know, whatever the question is, I fill in the info like that. So, Gravies says, when was the last time you were happy? Why don't we ask questions about my work, eh? Because there's so many layers to Not because, but there are a lot of layers to the question. When was the last time you were happy? What is happy? Tell me about yourself, Gravies. Let me know who I'm talking to so I can know what you mean by happy. Alrighty. Now I have to find the correct. I've got one free USB port. Now I plug in the iPhone. Because look, if I say I'm happy right now, then you're gonna start arguing. Depends what you mean by happy. Clearly you're not happy. Hope and dreams. Hopefully this tethering isn't messing up my stream connection. And not every time I plug in the iPhone do I get the photo listing, so sometimes I have to go back and do it twice. So then there's one folder for each month, 2025-05 __. And I've already downloaded most of these pictures a few days ago, so I go to my import directory and I find the last day that I imported, 2505, and then I find the last modification date and timestamps. So I'm just like literally doing what a computer program, I could write a Python program to do this. And within like 20 times of doing this, the time will have paid for itself, maybe 100. I don't know exactly because I don't know how long it'll take. But it's like, do I just do it again or do I write a Python program to do it? I'll just do it again. Doesn't matter. So most recent. And also, is it faster to just re-import this whole directory or to find the date and then find the exact one? So 9/25/14, 70, oh, that's not even the first one. So it's still populating all the metadata into the columns because I haven't looked at this directory before, I guess. All right, 7:45:56, 73:48. Yeah, this computer's starting to lag big time. Took like 10 seconds just to open a file explorer window. And then it's going to take forever to sort it on the iPhone. So my phone solution will be about $300. I have two options. I can get an iPhone 13 Pro Mini, $300, maybe up to $350. or I can get a de-Googled Android phone that is pre-release $299 right now, and it'll go up to $379 when it comes out in their store. Potentially. There's a $379 strikeout. That's what they want me to think. Oh, are you sure you're not just oversensitized from living outside? No, I'm pretty sure that's how marketers make you feel a sense of urgency and buy it. I don't know, man. I think it's just something that's not what you think. Okay, cool. What's up, Azimuth? I'm a homeless Army vet with a master's. I had an EEOC case. And welcome back, by the way, Azimuth. Azimuth. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I had an EEOC case due to termination. When you talk about your former employer, I can identify with some of those ideas. Word. Right. So up to the 31st, so down to 27th at, or picture 7348. So sometimes also the iPhone will like update metadata or something, so the modification times change. So 7348 is the biggest number that I see on that one. So 7348, 745.56. All right, how long was that? See if this is like 5 minutes. So every time I run the Python script, it saves me, I'd say, a good few minutes at least of finding the set of pictures that I need to import. So then create a new directory. And I would just share my screen, but since it's my personal device, I just don't want to leak anything. But if I had a channel-specific device, channel-specific content, I'd be more than happy. Like channel-related, like business expenses, like all my Starbucks, my lunches, whatever. But like not my groceries, my car maintenance. If it was a company car, even that would be fun, track the fuel mileage. I write on the top of my receipts what my odometer says, how much I got out of a trip, and then I reset the trip counter every time for like many years, so I can see like what my fuel economy will be over time. I mean, it's all just, oh, what's the use in that? You have a view of history so you can plan going forward. Like, I don't need to disclose all the things I might be planning or not. Oop, dark intentions. Oh my God. Homeless guy is planning something? Oh my God, homeless guy has a database? That's so creepy. Oh, that's so threatening. Homeless guy, just get in your box and close your yapper. You're a homeless guy. You're not a human. Nobody's literally said that to you. Stop making stuff up, you crazy bum. And then 2025-05 __. And then finally paste all those pictures. Yeah, I could have just transferred the whole directory. And then something that I'm doing now too is creating a SHA-256 sums file in my directories. Again, I could use a FS Watchdog every time a file changes. And I've already got FS Watchdog code and everything running in one of my apps. So every time a file changes, basically maybe debounce it, so if it changes 5 times, you just wait until it hasn't changed for like 5 seconds. That's debouncing and then throttling as you might do at max every 5 seconds, but we don't need that resolution. We just need, okay, this file changed. It might have changed a bunch of times, but whatever it's sitting at now for 10 seconds, it's stable. Now we'll run the SHA-256 sum, and then we'll update the 256 sums file. And then, so from there, I can easily deduplicate stuff. Because then I'm gonna, there's a tool called git annex, Git annex, ANNEX. And it creates a directory of content that's content addressable hashed. So it renames the file to whatever the hash of its content is. And then it creates a new link in the place of the file. So it might go into like content / whatever the hash is. And then it creates a link from the original file to content / whatever the hash is. So you could have like 50 copies of that file, but it only takes up the room once because it only stores the content in the hash location. And then so when there's many linked copies, it's only stored once. That's a well-known pattern. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do with my photos. And then I can get rid of this step. So what's the business case, or am I just nerding out, right? And that same technique works for short text messages too. But it's really slow, actually, to deduplicate like events. And you'll still have to keep like all those events that you've seen in memory, so it'll still only go back so far. So yeah, so now I've got the new pictures. And then I pick out, oh, I hope I'm not sharing my screen. Yeah, so I just pick out the ones that are receipts then. So I can very easily scroll through. I can just show you a quick glance of my screen. So some are receipts, some are not. This is actually the desk I'm sitting at. I guess got a little win with that one, so you can see that. Boom. Actually, this was last night. Today's, I have the mic and camera, obviously. So the monitor is then on a stand, and then the mic is right here. But anyway, yeah, so I grab the ones that are receipts. You know, say these, and then there's one that's not. Oops, that's going to open them. A million windows are about to open. You see how slow they're opening? 1, 2. So anyway, I take these and then I open up my spreadsheet. I paste them into the receipts sheet. And then there's a vendor column. So the ones that look like Taco Bell, I can quickly scroll through and be like, Taco Bell, Taco Bell. I don't know, Taco Bell. So going by the file name. So then I've got that info, and if I want to see how much did I spend in Taco Bell, you know, these are not chronological, although they should be almost chronological because my algorithm for putting them in my bag is I always put the new ones on top. So they, you know, I put them into like my console or whatever. They're there for like a few hours or a day. And then I come into the office space. I just like throw them in my backpack. I get in here and I do the algorithm. So pretty much everything, it's almost ordered. And trivia, if you have I know I've been talking for a little bit. I'll go back to chat in a sec. Trivia, if you have a computer science degree, which sorting algorithm is good for almost sorted data? So we've got these receipts that are almost in order. Like I put them in the spreadsheet, they're almost sorted. Which one is super linear for almost sorted data? No asking AI or Googling. But this is like algorithms 101. You should remember that. Your professor should have made a big deal of it. All right, YouTuber yada yada. Why do you do that hand thing where you mock disabled people? Oh, what's up, Pharisee? Why did you like about flipping off the camera was a screenshot from you, not AI? It's not a lie, but if you can find me that exact screenshot, show me, please. But also, this is an opportunity to gaslight, and I know this can come because it can easily be AI. It might not be AI, it might just be manually edited. But if it's a real picture, then my bad. A lie has intent, a mistake does not. So I may be mistaken, right? And I'm sure you're perfect and you don't make mistakes. But if I were to sit here and say, oh, it might be a mistake, that would be lying too. But having no recollection of doing that and not knowing how people could come up with that camera angle. So maybe I was in lizard land with the jacket on. So, if someone's going to say, oh, you're a liar, I'm still not going to say, oh, no. I'm like, see, this is why narcissism and gaslighting and plausible deniability works so well. Because maybe I am mistaken, but now it's like, oh, and I'm like totally thrown off because I have to dig deep. And then we know memory doesn't work like a perfect recording computer. So, right? So maybe I'm mistaken, but that can easily be weaponized. And we see the nature of the people coming in here. They would weaponize it. So, many questions again, right? I remember I did meet this person before. Are there apps you can upload receipts and get money? Sure. And YouTuber, so yes, insertion sort is correct. Why did you brush over the disabled hand thing? Because am I not reading all these questions? Does that mean I brushed over it? So you're going to be in timeout for repeatedly assigning bad intentions to me. You're going to be 10 minutes. But, so you've made it seem as though I've brushed over the disabled hand thing. But I have a history of answering a bunch of questions and going back. And I do the disabled hand thing. Ask a question like that in private as well. Why are you so frustrated? Everybody isn't out to do you wrong. Timeout for 30 minutes. Right? See, here I stand humiliated again. See, do I have to explain? So having a channel. Everybody isn't out to do you wrong. When did I ever say that? Oh, I can't tell you when because I'm in timeout. So anyway, so then I can put them in the spreadsheet and, from there, it's open-ended. Like I said, I can answer certain questions. So why don't I sell my receipts for money? It would depend on because it's gross. But at the same time, would I set up an app that buys people's receipts for money? Yes, I would. There's a reason they pay money for it too. It's not just like, oh, I feel good about, I just want a bunch of receipts. So let me go back to the camera view. Hey, look, there's a homeless guy on this channel. Let's throw snowballs at him. Let's come on and ask him weird questions. Then let's ask him too many questions to possibly answer, and then accuse him of not answering all the questions. Let's just be weird and antisocial. Why does he seem frustrated? Gosh. Guys, this is the reason he's homeless. Ha ha ha, look at that. So if I didn't say that I'm homeless, you guys might be speaking with me completely different. And I was on a different channel, but everything else held the same. I bet this would be a very different stream if I didn't say that I'm homeless. If some people out there didn't know who I am. Have some imagined idea about who I am. Maybe knew who I was 7, 9, 15, 20, how many years ago? When's the last time we hung out and had fun? When's the last time I was happy with you? Eh? When's the next time I'll be happy with you? Eh? The answer to that, never? Then what are you doing here? Go outside. Oh, I am outside. You go outside. I go outside often. You notice this stack of receipts that I just showed you me scanning? Like, does it seem like I just sit on my computer all day? You know? 1, 2. Three. Wee-hoo. So like, all of this is like me driving places, all kinds of stuff. Me eating, trying new things. You can like feel the energy of it. Money is just a transfer of value, right? So even though I'm like, oh man, Taco Bell again? I have Taco Bell like twice a day. It's the least bad thing that I can eat. I get the same thing every single time. Sometimes it takes me a minute to get an answer to a question too. So the disabled hand thing. Like, what's wrong with being disabled? No. See, that's the kind of question that people come into the chat and ask. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being disabled. I'm just saying, why do you do the disabled hand thing? It's like, yeah, let's ask them questions to, you know, send to the community guidelines team. Like, I didn't want to say that a minute ago, but you know, it's the same sort of when I said consider your. I know that you were here for that, but just like. It's just low class to ask something like that. Oh, well, it's low class to do something like that. No, it's all in good fun, and see, it's just, I can only dig a hole by answering that question. And so either you know that and you want that to be the case, or you're low class. So I was figuring out why I didn't want to just say you're low class, but it's either you're low class or you know that. All right, so I have to actually tag these now. I was just showing you the process of what I was going to do. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. So, how's the charge? 44%. So as nice as the natural light is, we're getting to the point where we need some artificial light. Uh-oh, I got a incoming. Taco Bell, baby. Maybe I'll post the chat transcripts on a forum thread. Remember the forum? It's still there. I could run a forum now. See, I didn't have this, like, it's like the frog in boiling water thing, the boiled frog. It doesn't realize the water is getting warmer and warmer. It's just like chilling. So I'm focusing on, establishing one habit at a time, one change at a time. But then without like time to stop and reflect, or just the realization, it's not even something you can really necessarily catch in reflection. I realized, dang, because it's like even the season affecting the length of days. Like a few months ago, it was dark outside right now. Now we've got 4 more hours of light. So that means I can be in here for a while, hours and hours and hours, and then go do something else, right? As opposed to like, pretty much it's cold, it's dark. Things are just different. The way people are, besides myself, is different, and that means like everything else is different. School's out for the summer now. That's not different. How does that affect adults? Well, college people are adults, and then like parents have different patterns. I'm in agriculture country, so like harvest time and everything makes a difference. And then after the harvest, people have money to spend, right? So there's just this whole set of stuff to get familiar with, and so you don't even like think about, oh yeah, the length of the days is much longer, so I can do all this new stuff. How's it going, Kyle? Zane, I think I remember you. How you doing? What is going on? What's good in the hood? What would you like to share? I'm gonna use the restroom while you type. Just so you know, there's a bar in Denver that occasionally plays your video. That's funny. Right on. So I should see some spikes of growth if people are following me from that way. Yes, I farted last stream towards the beginning. Oh, yeah, the one I did earlier today. Cool. Good to know someone plays my stuff at a bar in Denver. All right. So probably for all the ones that are laughing, there's like 7 more who are like, keep going, man. You're doing great. Because people who go to a bar are a self-selecting crowd, by the way. Regularly. You know, there might be, did the fart smell? The fart smelled scrumptious, yes. Like my farts always smell the same because I always eat the same stuff. YouTuber 23-4 says, yeah, they aren't following you, they're just laughing at you and calling you pathetic. Word. That's what the world does. Doesn't make me feel bad in the slightest. Because I'm here and truthful, and God knows that. If there were a way to do better, then I would have the ability to not call myself homeless, because I would have choices, but I can't do better. So, mock me. Thank you. Kyle says, some people are so mean. YouTuber says, you never... That's a Pharisee type question. Is this Christ-like? Timeout for 5 minutes. So the last thing we had open was the inventory spreadsheet. That is a fun project. Inventory spreadsheet? Why does a homeless guy need inventory spreadsheet? Focus on getting drunk on the corner. Like, I obviously don't spend regular time doing my receipts. If I did, it would take basically the same amount of time. But I just do like a bunch at a time. Because I don't always have ideas for reports that I want to do. But I know that when I want to do a report, it'll be really nice to have the data right there. It's like something I know I'm good at is doing this kind of work. And so if nobody will pay me to do it, I will just do it myself, for myself. And then one day, if somebody needs something, I can be like, yeah, I'll hook you up. What are you working on? Says Kyle, the stream is lagging. Sorry, yeah, I think about 2 to 3 hours is the limit for streams. I think we're probably like 1 hour into this. Yeah, it's because I'm on a $200 computer that just has, I think, 4 gigs of RAM. I've got a bunch of stuff open, so what can I close? I really can't close much. I mean, I'll share my screen real quick if you don't quite believe me. But I've just got, well, so software updater, I doubt that's using much memory, but we can close that. 2 Firefox profiles, one for my personal stuff and one for iSpooge daily stuff. The computer's so bogged down that I have to force quit this program. A few Finder windows, a Word document, and 2 spreadsheets, which all, I think, share the same runtime engine. So mostly shared memory between all those. So if I have 1 document open, it's not much more to have 2 more, sort of thing. And then OBS streaming. But yeah, I just need a, so I'm going to shut down the stream pretty soon, but the playback, I think, will be reassembled. I don't know 100%. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, so if I had a more capable machine, then I could do a better stream, but this is what I have. So people want to mock me, say that blah, blah, blah. So YM says keep the faith. Thank you much.